Good afternoon.
Zio.
Hello. Michael Levitt, how are you?
Mikey.
Hello, I'm good. This is my mother, Edna.
Hi there.
And I'm working really hard to become your next member of Parliament for York Centre.
I hear one of this already.
Yeah, well, I'm working really hard, and listen, the election's on October 19th. There's a lot of things that I want to achieve in this riding, and hoping that I can count on your support.
Hi, I'm Hal Berman. I'm running for Parliament. Here's one of my cards. I hope I have your support. Hello, would you like one of my cards? All right. Hi, there you go. Thank you very much. Hello there.
The battle lines have been drawn. The race here in York Centre is one of the most contentious in this federal election campaign. And some observers say the tone of the debate has shifted from a focus on the issues to personal attacks between opposing groups within the Jewish community that don't see eye to eye on issues regarding Israel, something that candidates agree is divisive and serves to benefit no one. Yoni, paint a picture for viewers in terms of the very large and diverse Jewish community in York Centre.
You're right, it's large and it's diverse. As much as possibly 30% of the riding is Jewish, and you'll find all kinds of Jews in the riding. You find very ultra-Orthodox groups that really stick to themselves and stick to their own kind, and much more modern and secularized Jews, from the modern Orthodox all the way through the conservative and Reform, unaffiliated Jews, cultural Jews. Really, in this riding, it runs the gamut.
The Conservatives have made a concerted effort in recent years to court the Jewish vote by standing firmly in support of Israel. But the incumbent Conservative MP Mark Adler has made some questionable judgment calls, including being caught on video in 2014 pleading with one of Prime Minister Stephen Harper's aides to let him pass security to be part of a photo op at the Western Wall in Israel.
Jeremy.
Any media good?
Jeremy, can you get in? It's the re-election. This is the $1 million shot.
I'm sorry. What? Listen, you and 300 other people really don't. If there's one person that you don't need to forgive me. If I could have done this, it would have been done already.
Can you get him over here after to shake hands or something?
Mark Adler has faced a lot of criticism for a variety of issues, including video that surfaced in Israel, you know, with him talking about the $1 million shot. And do you think he can bounce back from all the criticism he's faced?
As for the $1 million shot, there's no question that was an embarrassment, a huge embarrassment. We actually haven't heard Adler talk very much since then publicly, and some have speculated that might be because it's been suggested to him that it'd be better if he didn't say anything, frankly. Can he bounce back? It's entirely possible.
For the past week, we have been asking for an interview with Mark Adler, but his campaign team says he's too busy to talk with us. So we thought we'd ask again in person. We're outside his office. We'll go inside and see if he's available. Do you think maybe tomorrow we can try and arrange something?
Tomorrow, I don't know. He will not be here in the morning. He has an event in the evening, and he will be door knocking in the afternoon. We have him booked all the way up. So
initially, the answer was no, but after we showed up at the office, his campaign manager said they would try and accommodate us. In the end, Adler's team never got back to us. Campaign posters advertising that Adler was the son of a Holocaust survivor also raised some eyebrows. That reference has since been removed from the posters. And his long-held claim to be the first child of a Holocaust survivor ever elected to the House of Commons was recently debunked. Former Liberal MP Raymond Folco from Quebec holds that distinction. The top three candidates in their riding, all from Jewish backgrounds, all with very different views on Israel. How do you differ from your rivals on the topic of Israel?
I'm not sure at all that there is very different views amongst the three Jewish candidates on Israel. I can certainly tell you that in my community work and even in my work within the Liberal Party, it's very much been focused on the fact that we have in Parliament right now, across party lines, very strong support for the State of Israel. So I don't think I would try to differentiate myself from the other two candidates. I think we all have a firm belief in the importance of a strong and secure State of Israel, a two-state solution, and the fact that, that standing up and being heard on issues like the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement, which Justin Trudeau and all three party leaders have been very adamant in standing up against, I don't believe that there is fault lines, and certainly not fault lines that should be exploited.
Well, my own personal view is that we should really be voting for the person who's best for Canada, not the person who's best for Israel. The Israelis vote for the person that they think is best for Israel, and they don't take Canada into account when they make their choice. And the fact that there happen to be 3 Jewish candidates running, we don't know who the Green candidate will be yet, I don't think that makes much of a difference, because really, when you're elected to government, you're elected as the representative of everybody, and religion isn't really the important factor. Now, I know that that may not be the same feeling that the voters have, and to be fairly honest, I've encountered some challenges with the Jewish community in terms of their support for Israel, and there's some sort of misconception that supporting Harper is supporting Israel, when in fact, in the only televised debate we've had so far, the only leader who actually came out and stated his support for Israel was Thomas Mulcair. I think that there's a difference between saying, Israel, we support everything you do, and saying, we believe that there is a way to find a peaceful solution. You have to come up with an agreement that both sides can live with, and that is the way to peace. I don't think that it's our place as Canadians to tell the Israelis and the Palestinians what they should be doing to achieve that peace.
Like his opponent, Levitt's campaign has encountered its own share of controversy. A recent protest outside the home of a prominent member of the Jewish community during a recent Liberal Party fundraiser caused a stir.
Don't vote for a traitor!
The protest was organized by groups that are nominally pro-conservative and anti-liberal, and they were held outside of a prominent Jewish person's house on the night of the Trudeau event. The reaction has been really widespread in the Jewish community. People are very concerned about the heightened rhetoric around the campaign, and concerned that people are making these attacks personal as opposed to political and about ideas.
I think when it becomes a divisive issue, as we saw when the Jewish Defense League recently protested outside, a Jewish community event, an event that a Jewish community leader had put together for the Liberal Party, I think the notion of Jew protesting Jew is when it's gone much too far.
Who is Michael Levitt? Tell us a bit about yourself and your background.
I'm a community activist, a local businessman, and really somebody that cares passionately about both this area in terms of York Centre, but also for Canada as a whole. And I've been motivated to get involved, to run in this riding. Hi there, it's Michael Levitt, your Liberal candidate in York Centre. I'm just calling to follow up with Howard. Thank you very much for your interest in volunteering on the campaign. I've knocked on over 20,000 doors in the last almost 2 years since I started my initial nomination campaign and then my campaign to be MP. People are struggling, and I think there's a time at which you look at it and you say, am I willing to take a step forward to do what I believe in? And the time for me was now. It was to do with Justin Trudeau's leadership and the vision that this Liberal Party is putting forth for helping the middle class, helping seniors, helping new immigrants, helping youth that can't find good jobs. And again, those Liberal values, big L and small L, are something that have been at the core for me, and I just believed that the time was now to get off the sidelines and try to make a difference myself, bringing the skills I have as a community leader and a businessman into the riding to help make a difference.
My name is Hal Berman. I'm the NDP candidate in this riding. I hope you'll support us on Election Day.
Yeah, what are you going to do about 407?
407? I don't think there's much that the federal government can do about the 407. What is your concern?
It's provincial.
Yeah, it is provincial, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm running for the federal government.
Oh, I see.
But what are your concerns about the 407?
That I'm driving in this city for 60 years, and now I'm not allowed to own a car.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
How come you're not allowed to own a car?
What drew you to politics and why the New Democratic Party?
Okay, well, I've always had an interest in things like debating and politics. I've always followed politics since I was in high school, even maybe before. I think the first election that I really took notice of was in 1980. That's when Ed Broadbent was the leader of the NDP. My grandparents, when they were living in Europe before the war, were part of a socialist youth group and then later became part of the Jewish Labor Bund, which is the sort of adult Jewish socialist group that was all over Europe. And so when I was born, they sort of brought me up with the same values that they came up. And it's really interesting because they had values that would seem progressive today. They grew up in a small town, mostly religious Jews, and their views on things like equality, women's rights, homosexuality would be things that would be mainstream today.
This North Toronto suburb is home to more than 118,000 people. The riding boasts one of the largest Jewish populations in the country. It's also home to the largest percentage of Russian speakers in Ontario. But it's not limited to Eastern European residents. The ethnically diverse area is made up of vibrant Chinese, Vietnamese, Caribbean, and Latin American communities, among others. A large percentage of Filipino and Italian residents also call the area home.
There we go. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We're here.
Tell me about your secret weapon here, Mom, helping you canvass.
You know what? She has been absolutely wonderful. My whole family, unfortunately, my wife and kids couldn't be here during the day today, but we go out as a family. My mother has been so supportive, and really, we moved here from Scotland when I was 13. My mom came into my room one night and said, we're going to go on an adventure, and we packed up and we came to Canada. And her mottos inspired me. It's always be brave and curious, and always strive. It doesn't matter. Take a little bit of a risk, take a chance, but follow what you believe in. And honestly, it's one of the things that's got me running in this election. And to have my mum walking up to the doors with me, to have her out on the campaign trail with me, first of all, people love to see her. It's this riding again has a large seniors population, and I think it's the message we're trying to get across, that it's important to be able to have seniors and people engaging and healthy and fit, and just having my mum at the doors when so many of the population are seniors, it's been a real wonderful thing, and for me personally, it's great.
And why is it important for you to support your son as he's out canvassing?
Well, he's my boy, so of course I would support him. I never really thought about it. When the campaign started, I thought to myself, you know what, I should really be out there doing it. So I phoned Michael a few weeks ago. I said, count on me every Saturday and every Sunday for one shift. And then I have my great line. If the right person comes to the door and I say to them, on October the 19th, vote for my boy. And often the older women will say, oh, yes, it's your boy. So it makes it a bit more intimate and certainly a bit more family oriented. And I like it. It's a good feeling.
And who are these little ones? Who are these young supporters?
This is Chaim. He's my son. He's 6.5, and this is Miriam. She's 8.
So your
my
son
daughter.
and your daughter
My son and my daughter.
are helping, and here there comes the rain.
Yep.
Here comes the rain. So how do you deal with conditions like this when you're campaigning? What do you do? Where's your campaign office?
Well, right now we don't have a campaign office. We're hoping that if we get enough funds and enough donations that we will... the sign works very well as an umbrella for the kids. We're hoping that we'll have enough money to have a storefront. But until then, we're using a garage, and we're keeping things there, and we're doing our work on social media and in the field.
We'll take a break, let the rain move this rain cloud. And
okay, shall we go underneath the...
Sure.
Okay, boom, boom.
The This was a long-held Liberal riding up until the last election. Are you feeling added pressure to win the seat back for the Liberals?
No, you know what? I'm feeling a lot of positive energy. This riding, as you said, was Liberal for about 55 years until the last election, and there was a real need to re-engage voters, to re-engage the communities that just didn't feel last election that they wanted to come out and support. A lot of them stayed home. They were feeling cynical about the process of government, and I don't think we did a great job at engaging them. I'll tell you, I'm banging on every one of those doors this time around. There's positive feeling. They're being re-engaged. They're being re-motivated. The positive energy for me that I feel across this riding has been tremendous, and I feel there's a real call for change nationally and locally, a call for renewed leadership. And as a local politician, I think that's what I'm bringing to the table. That is really one of the central messages. It's about leadership in York Centre, and I absolutely feel that I'm bringing that, and I believe that the people that I meet, the people that I talk to, there's a different story behind every door, but they're all, feeling that that same dynamic is at play.
One issue they do differentiate on is how to approach development at Downsview Park, a popular hub in the community that's been in a state of flux for years.
This is really the heart of the riding of York Centre, 500 plus acres, and it's a national urban space, and this should be transformational for the local community and for the GTA as a whole. It's an incredible opportunity which this government over the last 10 years has squandered, and quite honestly, the local member for the riding has been absent on. The community really wants to see this park become something that adds to their quality of life. It's a huge space that has all kinds of potential to be developed. But there's a third party, Canada Lands, running it right now. There's been an absence of leadership from the local member on this area, and time after time, at door after door, I hear people saying, "What happened? You know, what happened?" It's like a tangled web of a lack of transparency, a lack of accountability. Residents, the local community wants to have their voices heard. They want this to be transformational.
Downsview Park is the site of Bombardier's Global Express facility, where the Dash 8 turboprop airliner is manufactured. It's also the future site of Centennial College's aerospace campus. The project recently made headlines after the federal government announced a major cash injection.
The federal government recently gave $18.4 million to Centennial College's aerospace program here at Downsview Park. Do you think the money was well spent? You're talking about projects, things aren't happening.
It's interesting. So that particular announcement had a couple of things that I think are quite telling in terms of this federal government. That was a project that had already been on the books and that was done in conjunction also with the provincial government, which had promised similar funds, I think $23 million, about a year and a half prior. The interesting thing was that announcement was done without any consultation with the provincial government. There's a fund of money that had been put in place for the provincial government to work with the federal government, selecting and looking at different opportunities in and around the area. And yet it was an opportunity for the federal MP and the federal Conservative members in the area to grandstand on. Of course we want to see investment, and of course the notion of that particular project at Centennial College is a positive one, but it's merely one piece of what needs to be happening here.
It's the second major funding announcement in the riding this year. In January, MP Mark Adler announced $2 million in government funding for the expansion of the manufacturing facility at Dalton Pharma Services.
There are a few main things that our party is focusing on. One of them is to help boost the economy by allowing people to work without worrying what's going to happen to their children. So the $15 a day daycare program, 1 million spots in the first term of office, is something that I support. Certainly, I have 2 children. I know a lot of parents who have children. A lot of them have to work. They have to send their kids to daycare, and it's very expensive to do that. Allowing parents to work and save on daycare would allow them to put that money into the economy in other ways. Hi there. I'm running for the NDP for this election. I hope I have your support.
In this riding?
In this riding. Do you live in the riding? Right in there?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I'm the candidate in your riding.
Pleasure to meet you. I was planning on it.
Oh, great.
I was.
Great. Is there anything specific that motivates you to vote for the NDP?
You know, there's a huge fervor about how much people think Harper sucks, and I'm not totally swayed by that. But there are a handful of things that I think are really pretty deplorable. The way that he's treating veterans, namely, that's the one that really helped solidify my vote for NDP.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that I have your support. If you want to come work on our campaign, you get in touch with me. Do you follow Twitter?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm at Berman NDP. Okay, I think I have I'll give you one of my cards.
Sure, you fast.
It's got website and Twitter account.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Good luck to you out here. Hope it's a little drier in the afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
What will you bring to the community if you were elected to the House of Commons?
Well,
why should voters vote for Dr. Hal Berman?
Yeah, and I think that's a more general question, not just within the Jewish community, but why should the people of York Centre vote for me? I think I have a lot of skills that make me a sort of a natural member of Parliament. I've been a member of a debating society, the Ruskin Literary and Debating Society, which is, I think, about 10 years ago, it was the fourth oldest debating society in Canada. I've been a member since 1990. I'm very comfortable speaking. I can speak in both of our official languages, and I can understand in both languages as well, so I would be able to hear what people say directly. I know a bit about parliamentary procedure. I'm also a doctor. Not a lot of physicians go into politics. There are a few noted exceptions. But I think that my skills and my experience as a physician sort of have made me able to sort of understand what people need. I go to see patients in their home, and I see patients who are quite affluent, and I see patients who are quite poor. And I see that there are a lot of things, we talk about free healthcare, and healthcare isn't free. There are a lot of things that people have to pay for, especially near the end of life. And there are a lot of patients who would like to stay home at the end of life and just simply can't because they don't have the resources. Home care is basically stretched to the limit, and one of those reasons we believe is that there's not enough money coming from the federal government to support health care in Ontario and in the rest of Canada. And one of the things that we would do is we would increase those transfers for health care. Try to make eye contact first. Hi there, my name is Hal Berman. No?
Not a chance.
Not a chance? Okay.
Do you think not being in full campaign mode right now can set you back?
I don't really think so. I think that one of the things that we decided right at the beginning is that we weren't going to campaign on Stephen Harper's time schedule. We were going to campaign on our own schedule. If anything, having the campaign longer makes people more aware of the campaign and gives us more time to raise money for our campaign. So it's actually a benefit to us, and it allows us to do things slowly over a longer period of time before we are in full swing.
We're almost halfway through a 78-day campaign, still early in the race, and not all parties have started putting out their campaign signs. We reached out to the Green Party, and they tell us they're still working on getting a candidate nominated for the riding. For CPAC, I'm Heather Seaman.